which is weird.
That's not a good sign.
No.
Bear with us.
Well, they can now.
Right. Okay, so welcome to the people who are online, and lovely to have you join us as well today. So as you know, we're in the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work. So before we start, and this will be a regular thing that we are making acknowledgement of country. So Flinders University acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which its campuses are located. Flinders has campuses in South Australia, into the middle of Australia, and also in the Northern Territory. So the traditional lands of the Arenti, Dagamun, First Nations of the Southeast, First Peoples of the River Murray and Mallee region, the Jawan, Ghana, Larrakia, Najuri, Ngarrindjeri, Ramangeri, Warramungu, Waterman and Yolngu people. We honour the elders past, present and emerging. And as you'll progress through the social work and also the graduate certificate, you'll realise how important this acknowledgement is for social workers because of the history of colonisation and also how social workers have been part of past policies in the colonisation of Aboriginal peoples. So welcome to the orientation. So I see that orientation goes for 2 weeks this year. So this week it's about orientation and then next week it's about connection. So I've got some activities ready for you. So it's important to make sure that before you start studying that you've got all your essentials organised. And I'm just going to go through what those essentials are. So have you all worked out how to log into Wi-Fi on the campus? So the network, we have a network called Edgerome. So it doesn't matter whether you're on campus at Bedford Park or Flinders, if you want to do some work in the Flinders Street, Victoria Square, you can still log into our system. Everyone needs to have a student card for identification, so make sure that you do that. Obviously, you can request a card online, but you can also go down to Flinders Connect and get your card. There's also a new student section on the Flinders University website called Campus, or Compass, I should say, and has information that you need to help you settle into the university. Because it does take a while to get used to the university system, also to really navigate the campus. I've been here now, let me think, over 10 years, and I'll still get lost around the campus. So it's not just new people. So part of getting orientated is about planning your study. So making sure that your study plan is organised, that you've got everything you need, because you don't want to be starting study next week and really still trying to get your things or start planning what you need to do. So it's important to understand what you're studying and also understand what are the requirements for each topic and also the course. So I'm sure that you've all enrolled, because that's why you're here. You're all registered for classes. Has everyone registered for classes? Or if you're having any trouble registering for classes, you should contact us, Flinders. We also have course advisors here that can help you if you have any problems. Now, I've already been told that some people have been trying to register into some tutorial groups and there aren't enough classes. So during this week, we've sometimes seen numbers increase, but you'll also see that there will be classes to make sure that you are engaged in the topic. So don't panic, just give us a little bit of time. Sometimes it takes some administration to get those classes organised. Do you want to do some? Yeah.
We are also introducing and requiring students to have a unique student identifier. So as of the 1st of January this year, all students, it's not just our faculty or our discipline or our college, all students must have a USI. New students applying for Commonwealth assistance will need to provide their USI on the Commonwealth assistance form to receive financial help. So there's the link for you to check out if you have a USI, if you're not sure. And I have been told it is a reasonably straightforward process of applying. And so you're able to go to the last site if you do not have one or are not haven't engaged in that process. You will definitely need that. And we were asked to reinforce that that will be something that unless you have one, you will not be able to progress through the program. Thank you. Okay, so it's really important at this stage that you start thinking about and getting used to the learning environment that you're going to be operating in. I had a student last year, for example, who told me that she had never used her Flinders email account. So she'd never got emails from the topic coordinators, alerts or information. And so it's really important that you set yourself up for success right now and make sure you're aware of the environment that's going to support you to learn. So Flinders Learning Online, which is referred to as Flow, you will hear people talking about Flow a lot. That's the platform or the learning management system that we use here at Flinders for now. And it helps or enables you to access all the learning that you will be involved with. It's absolutely crucial that you log into Flow, and as of today, you should be able to see the topics that you have enrolled in and have a look through what's required of you and start to become familiar with that system. You will be learning across two LMS systems. One is Flow and the other is Canvas. So when I said it's Flow for now, Flow is a system that we are using and will be slowly phased out, and we will start using Canvas. And Canvas is a system that you may have been familiar with at another university. I've had a good look at Canvas, and if you're really familiar with Canvas, you probably will navigate Flow quite easily as well. It's not that radically different. So don't feel like you've had one system that you like and this one will be very different. So the way that you find out which LMS your topic is in, so have a look through that site and use the Flinders Opta dashboard, which is flindersopta.com, to navigate to Canvas. Use the My Systems section of Compass, Students, Flinders, EDU, AU to navigate to Flow. To find out more, register for one of the introductions to Flow, which is just one of the things that is available to you to learn about here at Flinders. Canvas and textbook sessions via the orientation planner. Essentially, Flinders set up a lot of the information that they know that you will need via that orientation planner. So all of the slides that we're presenting today and a recording of this session will be available to you all who are part of orientation. And so you will be able to use links within that to access all the information you need. I really strongly encourage you to immerse yourself in all of those as soon as possible.
Louise, I was just going to add, all the Master of Social Work topics for first semester are all on Flow. Next semester, the first year topics will be moved into Canvas. And then beginning of 2024, all of the social work topics or the Master of Social Work topics will be in Canvas. So I suggest that I know that you won't have a lot of free time, but this semester maybe become familiar with Canvas and know what it's going to be like, because next semester most likely many of you will be interacting with Canvas.
Which is not to be daunting, because it is, we've been assured that it's reasonably user friendly.
And we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, we'll be working through this together. So you're all here today, so in some way you found your way to Flinders or had transport. If you are needing a parking permit, make sure you get one using the link there, because parking inspectors do give tickets. So it gets very busy here at Flinders during teaching time. It's not so bad at the moment, but as of next week, it is difficult sometimes to get a park, so you need to look very broadly for parks at times. There's the train that people are using more and more, the Flinders railway station. It's only 22 minutes to the city if that's where you're living. So it's quite an easy system, a little bit of a walk. And then there's also a loop bus. And so have a look and download the BusMinder app, and that should help with if you are needing to use a bus. I know a lot of students use buses to get to and from Flinders. Okay, there are scholarships available, and a lot of people think that scholarships are only available later in their course or for people who have had the highest GPA, but there are a lot of scholarships available, and it's worth looking into. And there will be aspects of looking at financial need and also being on top of your academic studies. But it is really worth having a look at those. People have told me they've looked and not been expecting to be eligible, and they were. So please, as I said before, it's all of this information will be available to you. Just use that link. I don't know why that's working that way. We value and we place as a high importance your safety on campus. So please make sure that if you experience any unacceptable behaviour or you witness that you report it, please, and you are able to make a confidential report. We are all committed to making the Flinders campus a safer place. Generally, I think it is a reasonably safe place. If you're not familiar with Adelaide or Flinders, it is generally a safe place. However, like everywhere, there will be pockets or times that there could be unacceptable behaviour. So please speak up about that. And there again is a link for that. So if you make a report, it doesn't mean that a formal complaint process will go forward. It's really just a first step for you to talk through what has happened, seek and receive any support that you may need, and then look at what next steps could be required from there. Yeah. Now, at the moment, we're all feeling probably nervous and a bit unsure because it's a whole new thing. However, as the semester goes on, sometimes that feeling of uncertainty can turn into deeper feelings of feeling anxious, for example, very homesick, sometimes overwhelmed, and that can also lead to other feelings of not feeling like you are your usual self, or that you are not feeling on top of what you need to do. It also occurs for all students at any time that you can feel that it would be helpful to have someone neutral to talk to about whatever it is you're experiencing. We've got a really good health and counselling and disability service here, and it's very responsive. They work with a lot of our students. It does not mean that you necessarily have a diagnosed mental illness or a disability. It just means that at times we all need support. And for some of us, coming here is a big step. So that service is available for all of you at no cost. And so you are able to seek a service from health, counselling and disability to get the support that you may need to go forward. And they are trained counsellors. So it's important to make sure that you look after yourself and that there is that service for you if you need it, or if you think one of your friends needs that and you can encourage them to go for that service. I would also say that if you have a type of disability, and that is a broad range, and that impacts on you being able to do your work or complete things in a predictable fashion, you could go to the disability services and organise to have a disability action plan. And a disability action plan is a confidential plan that you are able to then show to your topic coordinator to look if you need, or to organise if you need some additional support, which might mean some extra time or additional support in exams, things like that. So please don't overlook those services. They are definitely there for you. And if it's of any encouragement, please know that a lot of students use it, and there is absolutely no problem with that. We really encourage it. So sometimes this goes with the click and sometimes it needs the mouse button. We go with that. So that leads us to talk about Oasis. There is a great deal of services at Oasis. Some of them are services that are general support. Other students volunteer to help students. There's yoga, there's walks, there's lots of things that contribute to your well-being. And there is also people to talk to if you feel that it's got to the point that you need more support than that. Go to Oasis and they will definitely support you. If you're unsure in the beginning, go and have a look at their site. They're incredibly flexible and friendly, and quite often they are able to link you into things that you didn't know were available. So even if you're feeling a bit isolated, homesick, alone, those some of those things can be really helpful in those circumstances.
I just want to add that social work is working very closely with Oasis at the moment. So we'll be setting up some sessions, inviting social work students there to talk about, conversation groups, just getting to know each other. They also have other programs where they have mentors. You can be meeting with a mentor. So keep an eye out for announcements, and we will be sending out times and dates for that. Did you want to add anything to that, Chris?
All the details yet, so.
Yeah, no firm details, but it's in the works and will happen very soon.
Good. There are other services that you may be interested or find useful to access. And they are for all students and staff. So please go in and have a look, and don't leave it so late that you are saying, oh gosh, I've been here a semester, I didn't know there was, for example, a prayer room, conversation groups, equal opportunity advisors, Pride Network, and the Good Vibes experiment. So press on that link, join in, have a look at what services might be useful for you. They may not be something you want to access right now, but if you have a look and know in your mind that they're there, they may be something that you would find useful. We really encourage you to make the most of your time at orientation. We recognise that all of our time is very valuable, so we're grateful that you've come in today and are spending the day here, but there are other activities as well. We really encourage you to make the most of that. And one of the best ways to make the most of orientation is to get to know each other, link up, connect with each other, because you're all in the same situation. You will be those people who don't necessarily know a whole lot of people yet. But if you look around the room and you look at the people online, they are also in the same situation as you. So please make use of all of the activities that are going on. And as Carmela said, our O week is, well, that's for 5 days, but then we've got a separate week next week.
Connect week.
So do you want to go from here, Carmela?
Yep.
Yeah, the next one. I Oh. No, it's just a recap, but it's a little bit repetitive.
So I think we've already talked about finding your way at Flinders and using Flow or Canvas, depending which site you go into, to actually find out what resources are available, get familiar to Flinders University and how it actually works. So there's a whole site that's been put together to finding your way around Flinders. There's also lots of information about tricks and shortcuts. I'm not sure that that's a good thing, but it's about developing your academic skills, what you actually need to be successful as students. So there's lots of videos. I know that the International Student Services have put a whole range of videos together, but there are also some videos through student support services that provide academic support. Now, Unify is, this must be fairly new, but it's a student connection program that's been designed to offer fun, interactive sessions for you to meet each other, to meet your peers and other students, and to build friendships. And also, you know, once you find you've got some friends, you're part of a peer group, it also increases your confidence in being a student and also as being part of Flinders. So I encourage you to explore Unify, particularly if you've come to Flinders and you haven't got some peers with you. It will support you in developing a peer friendship group quickly. And I guess, as Louise said before, it's really important to link into the services that have been provided, that are available, and never think that you're on your own. Okay, that you can find help if required. You know, if you're not sure where to go, have a talk to your topic coordinator or to your tutor, and you can even drop them an email to find out, you know, where you should go for if you want academic support, if you're worried about something. We're always there to support you and help you access resources. So Connect Week is next week, and there are a few activities, and I guess Connect Week is about getting to know each other, making friends, and there's lots of activities on Flinders campus. So as you can see, you'll find out there'll be information posted on our websites about you know, the Welcome Hub. How many of you been down to the student hub in the middle of the campus? It's actually a really pleasant place to be with the lawn and, you know, it's really inviting. There's Unify, we're having quiz nights. There's also a comedy show. I'll have to go to that maybe. You know, fairs and picnics. So there's lots of activity happening. So next week is about settling in, getting to know each other, meeting others in your social work degree or other people who you find, you know, friendship with in the university. So some top tips here. Visit Flow Flinders to get started. Make sure you're linked into the social media that is available through Flinders. Ping is a newsletter that comes out and has lots of information. Connect with new friends through Unify and other social accounts. There's Instagram, there's Ask Flinders on Facebook, and then there's also the University Student Association, also known as FUSA. We have a very active social work group in FUSA, and we call them FUSA. Is that? Yes, social work. So, so we have lots of information that flows through that group as well. And I know that many social work students also form their own social media account through WhatsApp or so there is lots of communication that happens. So make sure you're linked into some of those. So now we get into the coursework. So as I said, I'm going to talk about the Master of Social Work, and then Louise is going to talk about the graduate certificate.
Just doesn't.
Oh. Okay. So the Master of Social Work, I'm going to make you that. So the Master of Social Work, we have been teaching it since 2008, I think, is it? Yeah. And actually last year we went through an accreditation process. So what that means is our professional body, the Australian Association of Social Workers, has reviewed all our curriculum, has reviewed our topics, and we're happy to say that they have given us accreditation. So that means that when you finish this course, you can not register, but you can become a member of the Australian Association of Social Workers. So this is an accredited course. So I've got the definition of social work, and I just want to sure that every topic that you're going to enrol in or be part of, you will examine the definition of social work and how it applies to the area that you're studying. So social work is both a practice-based profession and an academic discipline, and it's about social change. It's about facilitating change in people's lives, working alongside vulnerable people, and making sure that you also have a foundation of theories, knowledge and skills to do so. So I thought I'd just put that in there just to get your appetite ready for what's coming next week. So the course is, it's a 2-year full-time course. It's a 72-unit postgraduate program. And as I said, it's taught over the 2 years. It can be taught both online and on campus. I know students, international students can only do a particular number of units online, but it is available online for other students. As I said, it's accredited, and when you graduate, you are accredited for a membership to the ASW. So one of the things that the ASW was really keen to make sure is at the end of the course that you as students, you achieve the following graduate attributes. So there's 8 areas that we need to make sure that we teach so that you develop these attributes as graduates, so that you are familiar with the ASW Code of Ethics, and I'm pretty sure that every topic will have the Code of Ethics as a link for you. And that you also become familiar with ethical dilemmas, so you can engage in decision making that is consistent with the professional standards and requirements, so that you as social workers can represent the profession with integrity and know that you have the knowledge, skills and information that you need to be professional social workers. That your practice is inclusive and responsive to diversity, whether particularly in working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, but also people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. But diversity also includes people who have different experiences. So we have lots of vulnerable people who we work with that may experience homelessness. They may be involved with child protection. They also may be experiencing mental health issues, just to name a few. But it's about being aware of those, how those issues impact on their functioning in society and the context within which they're living. So it's understanding as social workers about the systems within which you work. So one of the things that you'll become familiar with is that social work doesn't operate in isolation, that you're part of a system, and it's important to understand how that system impacts on your professional practice. It's becoming familiar with assessments and being able to understand the needs of people with whom you're working. And having the ability to work in teams. Now, I know you'll find lots of topics you're expected to work in teams or in groups. People complain they get really sick of it, and understandable. However, in the real world, social workers do not work alone. They're usually part of a team, part of an organisation, and it's important for you to demonstrate that you develop those skills in working with others. We have ethical and legal guidelines about recording, and then finally, it's also about ensuring that you're supervised or you supervise, and that you engage in ongoing professional development. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but over the 2 years, I assure you that you would have developed all those skills. So don't panic right now. So this is the program of study. So I might just go to the next. Many of you have probably seen this program of study, but I just want to use the next slide to talk a little bit more about how the course is actually structured. So the first year, it is about developing foundational knowledge. So you will begin to understand diversity, and you also and understand intersectionality. You will develop skills in working with individuals, and Chris is the topic coordinator for that topic. And it's a very important topic because it really sets the foundation, part of the foundation for placement, so your first placement. So you absolutely need to pass that topic to go through to placement. Then you'll understand working professional contexts and social work, and Louise teaches that topic. So you'll get a really good understanding about organisations, about the code of ethics, about how human services evolved and your role as a social worker. And then you'll also start to understand the knowledge and theories that inform social work. So the first year is really providing you with a foundational knowledge, starting to interact with people, developing your knowledge base, ready for your first placement, and further developing those skills. So first year, second semester, you'll go into your field placement, and then you'll work with Al Hassan about identifying the importance of research in social work, why that is important for us. And also you'll start to you'll get a good grounding on working in groups and communities. So that's the first year. Busy? It is a busy it is a busy course. And then the second year, you will develop some of that knowledge base in more detail. So you will you will start to look more deeply into some of the vulnerable groups with whom we work. So you'll understand about trauma and resilience, because many of the people with whom we work experience trauma or have experienced trauma. You will understand how to work with people who experience mental health issues and also child protection. And then you will also delve more deeply into social policy and social issues. And then the second year of your second semester, you have your final placement. And that is a really important both the placement topics are capstone topics, where really you bring together a lot of the knowledge that you have learned, how you demonstrate that knowledge and skills in working within an organisation. So they are very important topics and experiences. You will you will develop much more in-depth knowledge about working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and also integrity in social work, where you'll learn more so about decision making, ethical decision making, and the code of ethics. So as we do have expectations around completing the social work degree, so it's not just about learning the knowledge and skills and passing topics, but you also, the ASW has requirements around inherent requirements. So these are in multiple areas. It's about how you communicate. It's about demonstrating self-awareness. It's also about your how you interact with others. And one of the other things is if you have a criminal history, that's also something that you know, sometimes people might have transgressions as a juvenile, but if they're serious, then we need to think about, is that going to be able to help you progress through the degree. There is a charter of professional conduct, so you will have expectations of us as lecturers and topic coordinators and educators. We also have expectations of you as students about, you know, engaging with the topic, but also behaving in an ethical way. Now, I've got recognition of prior learning there. I think I might let Janine talk about that, or do you want to?
The recognition of prior learning is related to placements, and you are able to get recognition of prior learning for one placement, your first placement, if you are able to demonstrate, and the work that goes into demonstrating is quite lengthy. If you're able to demonstrate that you have had work experience that is equal or equivalent to one first placement in social work. And so it is about talking about the experiences you had in that workplace, but also a qualified social worker needs to endorse your application to say, yes, that person worked in that area. So some people come from other disciplines, as you all do, and start working in areas that are similar to social work. And recognition of prior learning allows you to demonstrate that you've met those standards, and they are aligned to, Carmela spoke previously about the graduate attributes. So all of those great 8 graduate attributes, you would need to demonstrate that you've reached the standard of first placement. So I don't want to say that to put you off putting in your application if you feel you have met those standards and have a social worker to endorse you, but I would also say that it's a lot of work as well.
Okay, so this slide is about just recognising that International Student Services is on campus. I think we had someone here from International Student Services today. No? So it's about recognising that they are a great a resource for you. They provide orientation. They also will support you around personal and academic skills, and if you have got any concerns, and if you have any worries, they've always got people available to you if you need some support or guidance, whether it be with your academic requirements or whether you have some personal issues or your, you know, sometimes things happen with your family overseas, which was always, you know, worrying for students, and you can talk to them about how to manage those. But just it's important to understand what they do offer you. So if so, they are there to support you. Over to you, Louise.
Thank you.
Oh, we'll ask questions later. Do anyone have questions about the Master of Social Work, or shall we leave them to the end?
Yes.
So within social work, but not we have a graduate certificate in trauma responsive practice. It's for people who work in the sector, and not all of the people who come in and enrol in this program are social workers. They come from a huge range of areas, and it recognises the impact and the increasing understanding in our society of the impact of trauma on people over time, and how that can lead to some adverse life outcomes when people have experienced trauma. And trauma relates to a great many issues. So some of you, I know that everyone I spoke to earlier is MSW here, but some of you might be interested in this later. In fact, we get quite a lot of people from the MSW wanting to do a graduate certificate, but it is also something that you may find when you're out in the field in placement, that professionals are undertaking this graduate certificate. So the graduate certificate is an 18-unit program, and it sits within education, psychology and social work, and it's offered internally and external mode. So we have quite a lot of students who are interstate doing the graduate certificate. Normally it can be completed in 6 months full time, but a lot of people complete it over 1 year part-time, because mostly they are working in the sector that works with people who may have experienced trauma. So at the end of the course, if we spelt that correctly, oh, sorry. We will be synthesising specialised knowledge about trauma, trauma theories, and contemporary research explaining trauma. We employ contemporary theory and practice, so it really is, there's a strong practice focus, but it has also a very strong theoretical foundation to respond to complex contexts and situations of trauma with individuals and groups. We will also be designing and implementing trauma-informed responses in specific fields of practice, which is informed by knowledge and research. Formulate culturally sensitive and inclusive practices for a range of trauma experiences at an individual and systems level. And you can start to hear the consistencies with social work there. We look to support people as individuals, but we also look to address issues in systems all over the service sector and the world. Reflexively evaluate independent judgments at an individual and systems level in trauma responsive context for continued professional development. So it's really that opportunity that once you've gained some experience and want to know more, specialise more, get a better foundation of theory, that's what the professional development components of this will help with. And also demonstrate how your practice has improved in the areas of loss, trauma, knowledge and skills. So we look to see a progression over the period of time you're in that graduate certificate. We've got 2 core topics, the trauma and complexity and being trauma responsive, and the 3 option topics, being child and young person centred, supervision leadership in contexts of trauma, family violence and abuse and neglect. Again, though the services that are available to students who do the graduate certificate are the same as those that are available to people that Carmela talked about with the MSW. So it's the services to recap, such as health counselling and disability, and remembering that that is where you are able to get disability access plans or access plans. Flinders Connect, International Student Services, Flinders University Student Association, Student Learning Support Services, Young Corinthi Student Engagement for people from First Nations students, and Oasis, which helps look at faith and spirituality, all very important components. So what would you do, or what can you do if you have an enrolment and course advice question? We've got a course advisor with us today, and so feel free, Jackie, anytime to chip in.
Let's step up, Jackie, or
Jackie is the woman in the beautiful colourful dress here, and Jackie is at the end of the line that some of you may have sent an email to ask Flinders or sought extra information about your course. Yes, well, at the end of that email, it goes to Jackie, sorry. And Jackie is phenomenal in knowing about what you can and can't enrol in, what your the best course of action for you would be, and what you need to do before you do something else, and what's possible in terms of your courses. Your topic coordinator will know all about social work or a graduate certificate, the theory and the academic side, but it's our colleague Jackie who knows all about transition through the course. So you can visit the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work virtual hub via the event app on Monday the 18th to Tuesday the 19th of July. No, that's
not right.
So you are able to access that now. That's not the current information. And you can have a live chat with an enrolment and course advisor, or you can visit Flinders Connect if your query is generic and not specific to your course. You can also raise an Ask Flinders request, and a lot of students do it that way, don't they, Jackie?
Yeah.
Go via Ask Flinders, and that Ask Flinders portal is what I consider the no wrong door. If you're not sure, go to Ask Flinders and it will get sent to the right place. And quite often it will come back to someone like Jackie, who's very friendly, very helpful, extraordinarily knowledgeable.
I'll just say, I think that is that information from July, that was referring to mid-year entry students from last year. So just that's okay, just ignore that top bit. But certainly Flinders Connect and Ask Flinders, we're always here to help you. I should also say I'm not the only person who fulfills my role in the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work. There are 4 of me, myself, Jackie, there's also Heidi, Saya and Caroline, and between the 4 of us, we deal with all of the courses that this college offers. You will almost always hear from myself or Heidi if you are a social work student. Because, you know, we have to divide and conquer. We have a lot of students in this college. So you'll probably get to know my name and Heidi's name in your emails, but you may also hear from Caroline and Saya and some of the other administrative staff that work in the college to help you with various things that you might need help with. So,
And they're amazing people, let me tell you.
and we're very modest.
They sit together as a team, so they work very strongly as a team. So like I said, you go to Ask Flinders, that is your entry doorway, that your question will be answered by the correct person.
Yeah, that's the best thing about Ask Flinders. If you aren't sure who to Ask Flinders will automatically direct your query to the right person. So if you have a question about your fees, it will go through to the team in finance. If you have a question about your timetable, if you have a question about graduation when you're coming up to the end of your degree, all of those different departments service Ask Flinders. So you just put your question out there and then we have a record of it and we'll make sure that the right person gets back to you. So if you're not sure who to ask, bother us instead of your topic coordinators, because that way we can make sure the right person gets back to you.
And it's better that you ask someone who knows instead of asking me and I say, oh, I'm not quite sure. Much better to do that. I want to quickly, as we're finishing up, remind you that the MSW and the graduate certificate both have course sites. So it's not just the topic, it's the whole MSW or the whole graduate certificate. And you can ask questions, but well, you can access that website to gain a lot of information about the MSW. And quite often Carmela in the MSW will put up job opportunities or information or training and keep you informed about what you need to know. So keep your eye on those course pages as well. And remember that there is a welcome lunch that we are having, on the 2nd of March from 1 to 2. It's in the tavern over in the hub. So please do come to that. We really warmly invite you and want to get to know you better. So please come along and get to know us better. Now that's all that we are presenting today, but we do have some time for questions. Very much, but you've been answering questions. Do you have any particular questions?
So again, if anyone who's online, if you want to pop a question in the chat, we can respond to that as well.
Two. One getting first year, and one is first year, second semester, and the other one in second year, second semester. And each is 500 hours each. Yeah. Sorry, can't negotiate on the hours because that's set by the professional body. I know there's been lots of information in the media about the hours, but that is what your requirement is. So it's 500 hours each placement. Any other questions?
When we do the placement, do we need to get the lessons in the campus or just do the placement outside the campus?
Oh, you do have you're on placement in the organisation, but then there's also seminars that you attend either on campus or online.
And there are 5 of those. They go for 2 hours each. They're conducted here or, as Carmela said, online. But luckily for you, our expert in field ed is doing a session after us. Here, I believe so. Yeah.
So,
It's in the lectures. Okay.
so you'll have a whole session just about placement.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I would like to know about clinical situation.
Clinical supervision.
Simulation.
Simulation.
That'll be me.
Yeah. Chris.
That'll be me.
Over to you, Chris.
So you're asking if something's on the timetable that says clinical simulation, right? That's in the skills topic of the practical individual topics. That's the very last workshop. And that's when you do your assessment, a clinical simulation. So you sit down with a client who is a professional actor, professional client, and you conduct a short session on you. On some timetables, it will say workshop, and some timetables it may say clinical simulation, but that's what these.
That's only one session.
Yeah, that's because that's the assessment. So we have 11 3-hour seminars, and then you have your assessment. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the semester version or the non-semester intensive, we still have those 33 hours of training and the 3-hour block. The reality is you're only there for about a half hour for your individual assessment.
Any other questions?
We might have one here that was coming in.
Yeah.
Next time.
Area placement will be put in automatically. Janine will answer all those questions.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'll probably leave it to her to explain how the system all works.
Oh, yeah, sure. This isn't about your placement allocation, but as everyone in this room is, I assume, starting their degree this semester, so you're all brand new students, so none of you will be approved yet for your placement for second semester, and all of that process will get started soon. So I just wanted to raise that because there's a lot of stuff coming out from the university at the moment about make sure you enroll for the whole year. You can do that, and we really encourage you to do that, except for your placement topic. So no one can enroll into their placement for second semester at the moment. Not the undergraduate students, not the postgraduate students. None of you can enroll into that topic yet. So you haven't done anything wrong. It's just that the process hasn't started yet. The placement process is very involved, and yeah, our work integrated learning team will teach you about that and talk to you about that. But at the moment, you just need to make sure you're enrolled in your 4 first semester topics. If you're a full-time student, if you're an international student, it must be those 4 first semester topics. You can also enroll into your other semester 2 topics, but your actual 9-unit placement topic for second semester, don't panic. Enrollment for that topic will happen in April, okay?
Lots of opportunity for that. No one's going to leave
Exactly.
anyone behind.
It's getting lots of
Now, there's a question.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah.
So Janine will take you through placement and what's involved, because there's quite a few things that you need to do before you get to placement. Okay? Lovely to meet you all.
Yes.
I welcome you. I wish you all the best. How many of you came through the graduate certificate? Yeah, just a starting individual. All right, so good luck. And remember, if you have any questions, don't just, or your worries, don't just keep them inside, okay? Make sure you talk to your tutor or your topic coordinator or someone from student support. Just make sure you talk to people, all right? Sometimes the answer is really easy. Bye-bye.
Hello.
I'm Gia. Actually, I have a question about more. Because I noticed that workshop, all of these workshops are available. So I don't know what I need to think.
So they've been the full department. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as Camilla said, timetable, you're aware of that. And last week our numbers have suddenly expanded. So we're looking at when and how times. Don't panic.
Yep.
I'm hoping the next couple of days they'll solve that and
Alright.
they'll let everyone know. So don't
So
panic.
just wait.
Yeah, just wait. It will happen.
Uh-huh.
But I can't give you an answer today of what that might be. If I had to guess, I would say it might Well, still, I've only been, this won't guess because I could be wrong. Yeah, pleasure.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so what they've done is I think they've probably changed the name. Because there's a technical change in the timetable. Each day, on all, lectures.
So no worries.
No,
Okay.
that's you're wrong, that's.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
Chris.
Yes, something to come up with classes, you can choose, yes, you can look at the timetables online, but you'll need to do that once you're enrolled in the program.